Hi everyone and welcome back to another math lesson this week with me, Mrs. Mansouri. Last week you were looking at a quarter of a shape. Today we are going to focus on quarter of an amount, which is very similar when you did your half of an amount. So we're going to be using the same strategies, but we're going to be looking at it slightly different because we're focusing on quarters. Okay? So before we begin today, you are going to need some objects. And you are also going to need a pencil, some paper to do your workings out today. Okay, so let's have a look here at our slides for today. So before we begin, we are going to start with our flashback 4. So you're going to need to pause the video in the different steps to complete these questions. So 1, 2. So please stop the video now while you are completing these questions, please. So let's begin with our problem of the day today. So the children share the orange equally. How many does each child get? So that's your first question. Your second question is, this is a quarter. And as you can see down here, you have the 3 oranges. What is the whole? So that's a little bit of a challenge for you. So please stop the video now and solve them questions, please. I'm now going to go through the answers on the next page. So let's have a look at the first question. So the children share the orange equally. So the first thing we have to do is to find out how many oranges there were to begin with. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see I've put 8 oranges here for us to use. Okay, so that's the first step of the question. We now need to share them equally between the children. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 children. So let's share them equally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all we're going to do now is we are going to group them. So it's something we have done before when we group them together. So how many does each child get? Well done. So they would get 2 oranges each. And there we go, I've solved my question A. The next part of the question was a little bit trickier. They have told you what is a quarter. So what I would do is I have drawn a square because that we've been looking at our shapes, and I'm going to divide it into quarters, which is 4s. Well done. So I've put it into 4, and I know that this is a quarter. They want to know how much is in the whole thing. So all that means is I need to add 3 to each of the sections. 1, 2, 3. So that's another quarter. 1, 2, 3. There's another quarter. And 1, 2, 3. There's another quarter. So I've put 3 in each quarter. Now I know how many is the whole thing. So 3, 6, 9, 12. I can count in 3s to do that, or if you're unsure, you can count in 1s. So the whole is equal to 12 oranges. And now I have answered the question. So well done if you managed to solve that one at home. I know that one was a little bit trickier. So let's recap what is a quarter. 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 Fantastic. A quarter is something that is split or divided into 4 equal parts. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one is a quarter. As you can see, I've written it there, 1 quarter. I've got 1 piece out of 4 of the whole. So let's have a look at this bar model for today. What is different with my bar model compared to last week when we did half? Well done, that is correct. I have got 4 equal parts instead of 2 equal parts. So I've made my bar into 4 parts instead. So I've got part plus part plus part plus part equals my whole. And it's the same thing with my PartWhole model. What is different? Fantastic. I've added an extra 2 sections because when we half, it's by 2, but when we do quarters, it's by 4. So I needed to make sure that I had 4 parts ready to do my questions for today. So let's have a look at the first question together. There are something Lego. Quarter of something is something. So the STEM sentence is very similar to last week where you did halves, but today we are doing quarters instead. So what is the first step you had to do last week? Well done, you had to count all of your Lego pieces. So let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all I'm going to do is write 12 in there. There are 12 Legos. What is the next thing I have to do? Fantastic. If you thought a quarter of, I need to put 12 in here as well because I'm writing my full amount to begin with. Is, and then we need to work this bit out. But how am I going to solve this question? I'm going to show you. So I'm going to begin by putting 12 in my hole. I don't have to put 12 Lego pieces because I already know there is 12. I am now going to divide them into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've divided them into my bar model like so. So how many is in each? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means they are all equal. So I know that a quarter of 12 is 3. And you could have done it exactly the same by just doing dots in the box as well. So you could have just done 1, 2, 3 instead and continued. Okay, so you don't have to use the images. You could just do dots to represent it as well. Okay, let's try it with this one. So there are something Legos. I would like you to try and do this one by yourself at home. So you're going to have to draw your PartWhole model onto a piece of paper and then solve the STEM sentence. You have to write the STEM sentence down and fill in the missing gap. So please stop the video now and answer that question, please. Right, I'm now going to go through it and solve it for you. So to begin with, there are Lego. So let's first find out how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there is 8 Lego pieces. So a quarter of 8 is, let's find out. So I'm going to write 8 into my hole because I know I have 8 to begin. And now I'm going to divide them differently. So instead of using the Legos, I'm going to do dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many dots in each part? Well done. 2. There's 2 in every part. That means it is equal, so all my answers are the same. So a quarter of 8 is 2. So fantastic if you got that at home. We are going to do one more now on transformers. So can you please try and solve this one at home? So you'll have to draw your bar model this time. So it's different because I asked you to do a PartWhole last time. So now I want you to try it with a bar model for me, please. So stop the video now while I solve the question, and then you can listen afterwards. So there are something transformers. I'm first going to begin with counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is 4 transformers. So I'm going to write 4 again, and I'm going to put 4 into my hole. I am not going to move the transformers. I'm again going to do dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've done my 4. So what is a quarter of 4? Let's have a look. Oh, everyone has 1, so a quarter of 4 is 1. So well done again if you solve that at home. Now it is your turn to solve the following activities. I'm going to go through the next couple of pages. So after every activity, you're going to have to stop the video to try and solve them, okay? So that is a visual one for you here. So there's 2 questions and you can see I've put the squares there. What I would like to see you trying to do is to use a PartWhole model or a bar model to solve it. But if you're finding it difficult, then you can just use 4 pieces of paper and you can use your objects at home. So you don't have to use sheep, obviously. You could use counters or pasta or anything just to solve this question. So you can use the manipulatives at home to solve this question. Okay. Question 2. Again, stop the video to solve these questions. Please use the STEM sentences and then show your workings out in a PartWhole or a bar model. And then question 3, I will upload onto Tapestry for you. You can access them and then print them out or draw them however you would like to solve these questions, okay? And then finally, I've put 4 different questions on here for you to try and solve. You don't have to solve all 4. You can just choose one question and try and solve that reasoning. So please come back tomorrow for another maths lesson where you will continue with quarter of amounts. Bye, everyone.